I do think it's time that the court system became much more of a place where the ordinary person feels they can go, and I think that means stripping judges and lawyers of their wigs and gowns and making it much more like a GP's health centre.
A lawyer who gave his services free to the McLibel too believes that, as with local authorities and political parties, large corporations should not have the right to bring such actions.
There are very strong arguments for saying that multinationals such as McDonald's didn't ought to be able to sue for libel in this day and age. It has now been recognised that local authorities and political parties can't sue for libel on the basis that they are in a position to defend themselves publicly. They have the resources to do so. McDonald's is a multinational of phenomenal size and has resources outstripping most political parties around the world, and they can certainly defend themselves without going to the court. The courts review or scrutinise legislation to see if there's a problem. If there's a problem that can't be resolved by the courts, they can make a declaration, and that's supposed to be part of the dialogue. It's then for Parliament to decide how to react. It doesn't have to change the law, but it has indicated that in most cases it will change the law. So in this case, if the courts declared that the Suicide Act was incompatible with the European Convention, it's highly likely that Parliament would then introduce legislation amending the law. Cameras in court will bring a breath of fresh air to the entire proceedings.
Is there any valid reason, in your view, why the majority of cases going through the courts in England and Wales at the moment cannot be televised?
I think the more the public know about the criminal justice system, the better. Subject to appropriate safeguards, there's no reason why there shouldn't be televisation of very many cases. After a thorough and careful review of the evidence, the CPS has decided that there is no realistic prospect of a conviction against the police officer in question for any offences arising from the matter investigated, and that no charges should be brought against him.
Director, will this crisis over bail be resolved?
Well, look, it's a very difficult situation, as everybody understands. What we're trying to do at the moment is to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, we're working with the police to make sure that the next few weeks can be managed fairly. Not every offensive message needs to be prosecuted.
Why?
Because free speech requires us to be able to speak frankly, sometimes offensively. And it would be wrong if there was a criminal prosecution in each of those cases. What we need is a sea change in the approach of police and prosecutors to these cases, and a real assessment of vulnerability and seeing it for what it is. It is not a reason not to prosecute, it's a reason to prosecute.